explain now the classification of friction or the types of friction. So what is friction? Friction is the force experienced by an object when it is moving on other object. Like this. I am writing with a chalk. Here, this line is thin because I have not applied strong force. I am here applying more force, so here this line is thick or dark. So this difference is due to the force. This board is applying force on the chalk which I am marking it. So that is also a friction. Uh, when any liquid like water falls on floor, then it is chance to slip. When oil is present, it becomes very difficult to walk. You cannot dance because see, for dancing there must be friction. Except this belly dance or on ice, it is totally different case because they are performed by very expert persons. So they use friction also by their roller shoe. So this is one point. Now coming to main point, the first category is static friction. So static means fixed. Static. The word static means fixed. So when the friction is experienced by an object which is stationary, say here I have drawn a table. Table is drawn and here some object or this object is on it and it is stationary. So if you want to move this object or this book, let it be a book. So book cannot move easily. Book cannot move easily because book is in contact with the table and book is fixed or book is not moving. We can say book is stationary. If book is very thick or few books are there, so we cannot move with our one finger. We have to apply our palm because this book or group of book, it is being attracted by the Earth's gravitational force. Even then, if it is kept on a table, because Earth is very huge magnet due to its gravitational force. So Earth attracts by the gravitational force, and so magnetic force is one other point. But here gravitational force is acting on the book, and as a result we cannot move by just single finger. We have to push it by our arm or few fingers. And so static friction, it is maximum. It is maximum. Static friction requires maximum force. It requires maximum force to move an object. So what we can say, static friction is very strong. Static friction is very strong. Friction, sliding friction. So sliding friction means, again, here there is the table and here there is same book. There is same book and the book is already in the motion. Book is book is in motion. बुक पहले से ही मूव कर रही है, तो क्या होगा, यहां इजिली इसको हम चला सकते हैं. बुक इज ऑलरेडी मूविंग by any means, so it will require much less energy from us. Book will require much less energy from us in order to move from this place to this place. And so why? It is because book is already moving. Say someone has tied with a rope, or the person is moving and we are applying little force. So here its force needed is much less than static friction. Force required to move, to overcome the friction is much less, because here someone is pulling the book, pulling the object. And so what happens? See, what happens when any bus stops, or bus is not going to start due to failure of battery or due to some reason? What happens? Conductor, driver request, bhaiya niche aa jao. Some very healthy persons or persons full of gin, they go, and what happens? Just they move the bus here and there. Why they do so? They do so because by moving here and there, bus will be coming to some motion, and it will try to move very quickly with less force. 5 or 6 persons can move a big bus just by doing this. So what happens? जब बस में धीरे धीरे मूव कराएंगे तो क्या होगा, उसमें झटका लगेगा, बस स्लाइड में चली जाएगी. And what happens? Then driver says, चलो चलो धक्का मारो उसको. So then 5 or 6 persons, they move very fast the bus, and then the bus starts moving. So this is the meaning of sliding friction. And so its magnitude means its amount. Its magnitude is less than a static friction. So its amount, its magnitude is less because it is already in the motion. Rolling friction. Roll means just to move on its own. Like many cases, very huge boulders of stone or very huge log of wood can be moved by only 2 persons or 3 persons, which 10 persons cannot to hold and to move. Why? Because we provide little amount of energy and it rolls like this. There is huge stone, and if we have a stick, or if we have steel or iron rod, तो क्या करेंगे, इस पे यहां से उठाएंगे, क्या होगा, as soon as we apply force, then slowly we'll move. So what happens? We'll start rolling. So this is rolling friction, and so if it starts rolling, then very little amount of energy. Once it starts motion, once it starts rolling, then very simply we can move. So rolling friction, this is one example. Other example, you all must be knowing the huge machines in our homes. For example, like the washing machines. In washing machine, washing machines are very heavy, and we use, some people use, the stands. Stands are there, and they have the wheels. In washing machines, you know, or very huge, stretchers in hospitals. You might have seen stretchers. They are the wheels, or any almirah can be there, or gas cylinders are also there. Just in the gas cylinders, there is a holder, and holders have the wheels. Holders. This is the these are the wheels of you know gas cylinder. This is gas cylinder, holder. It is not so common, but here very heavy gas cylinder. It is of approximately around 40 kilogram including the gas. But when we put here the gas cylinder, it can be more. This is the gas cylinder mover. And so naturally we can move. So this is a rolling friction. This is rolling friction. And because there is a ball bearing this is not on the ball bearing, but here the force is required. But in this gas holder or almirah or stretcher, there is always the ball bearings. Ball bearings are there. So ball bearings have this is ball bearing, and ball bearing have the minute balls, and as a result it starts moving. Last, that is the fluid friction. So basically fluid friction, it is the friction which requires very little energy. So it is weakest. It is weakest among all the frictions. Why? Because it is experienced in the liquids. So as name indicates, fluid means liquids. So we fall down if there is any floor, there is some liquid, then we fall down, because liquid act as a film. So if there is floor and there is some oil, so we are likely to slip away. I had explained about the mirroring or the polishing of marbles or granite. Why we do? We do for better appearance, better looking, but it is not good, because we have experienced whenever it is wet or some liquid spills over the surface, what happens? There is a separate layer, and so the friction is reduced by oil or water. Friction is reduced. Friction is reduced because oil या water एक layer बना देता है, and अपनी body या अपने पैर को वो resist कम कर पाता है, and hence we slip down, we fall down very quickly. Similarly, if we use soap solution also, so it is slippery. So basically, this fluid friction makes any object move very fast. So here much less, lowest energy is needed. So if we arrange all the different frictions, so what will be the static? Static will be strongest. Then coming to sliding, then coming to rolling, and last is fluid friction. So here what happens? Here the from moving to this side, energy energy requirement energy requirement decreases. Energy requirement decreases, and here on moving from this to this side, force is increased. Force is increased means between the objects the force is increased. So this is about the classification of friction.